Welcome to Arts and Entertainment Ministries. One of the basic foundations of the Christian life is the Ten Commandments. If we want to be serious about our faith and serious about the art we create, then we need to consider how the Ten Commandments are relevant for us today. Now, if we're honest, we don't always see the commandments as a blessing. This is because we have forgotten the context of the Ten Commandments. And that context is love. God demonstrated His love by rescuing His people from slavery before He gave them any rules. If we lose this point, the Ten Commandments can feel like a point of frustration rather than a guide for freedom. There's a powerful phrase to describe this dynamic. Rules without relationship lead to rebellion. If the rules were seen out of context of love, it becomes disaster. However, if we remember that God came to us in love, then the Ten Commandments can be understood as a way to honor and love the God who loved us first. Now, sometimes artists simply wince at the idea of rules. They think any restriction will frustrate their creativity. There's a perceived tension between art and rules. Some people may say boundaries. But if we take a closer look, we realize they're interrelated. One of the great musicians of the 20th century was Stravinsky. He was pushing boundaries, he was trying new things, but at the same time he said this: there is no freedom without boundaries. Each art form has its own boundaries. We are limited by the instruments and equipment we use, as well as our art form. Music simply can't communicate the same thing you can communicate with a painting or a film. We can't escape the inherent limits of our craft. In truth, we need both structure and freedom. And if we pursue either extreme without the other, we'll find our creativity limited. We need to be careful that we don't go to either extreme, freedom or the law. The first extreme occurs when we think our personal freedom is the point, and we place too much emphasis on breaking boundaries, expressing our passion or anger or other emotions. Personal expression becomes everything, and we lose an awareness of other dynamics. We lose perspective on our relationship to God, our patrons, and our audience. In short, we become libertines who are focused only on our own liberty. Soon our hearts become consumed not only with our own freedom, but we begin to judge others when they're not obsessed with their personal freedom. You can see this in parts of the art world today. Personal freedom and expression take on a life of their own, and we lose sight of how our life and work may help or hurt others. In effect, we become artistic libertines. The other extreme occurs when we think the rules are the point. We don't usually think of art this way, but even artists can become focused on the rules. There may be a school of art, a style of cinema or music that we became enamored with. Maybe your mentor or professor insisted there's a specific way to approach things. Whatever the case, there can be a temptation to idolize that one style or approach to art. Naturally, when this happens, we begin to judge everything else by those rules and expectations in that school of thought. We lose sight of God's grace and the beautiful variety of creativity found in the world. In a sense, we become artistic Pharisees. One of the easiest places to see this is in elitist circles of artists and art critics, where people establish rules who can join the group and who can't. They live by many unspoken rules, and they approach others with dismissive attitudes. Now, regardless of whether we focus too much on our personal freedom or on the boundaries of a school of thought, we're missing something. There's a balance that must be struck, and we can discover that balance if we take time to examine the Ten Commandments in relation to our creative life. This video is the first video in our series on the Ten Commandments for artists, and we invite you to join us in this series as we uncover the relationship between God's love for us, His laws, and your creative life. If you want to be notified as soon as each video comes out, just subscribe to our YouTube channel or sign up for our newsletter on our website. And if you've enjoyed this video, leave a comment, share it with your friends, and please don't forget to like and subscribe. Oh, and one more thing. If you want to learn more about artistic freedom and boundaries, we cover that topic in depth in our Arts and Entertainment Institute. For more information, just click on the link below in the notes.